Yes, welcome to our Healing Sanctuary. I'm Bahati Hilda Sabiti, and on this channel, we talk about healing, and that is from toxic relationships, from narcissists, and from anything that really puts us down when it comes to relationships. Because when we get into relationships, our best hope is we want to be happy, we want to be loved, we want to love and be loved, we want to reciprocate the feelings, and we want to feel heard and seen, and we want to know that the other person has our back as much as we have their back. We want to know it's not an entanglement. We want to know that it's a healthy relationship. And most of us go into relationships willing to work on those relationships, but we sometimes get entangled with people that are just not willing to put in the time and the effort, or are just toxic and narcissistic, and there's nothing we can do about that but to learn and to grow and to make sober decisions that can actually enhance the happiness and create the epic life that we really want. We all deserve the happiness. Okay, so join me. If you're your first comer, just make sure that you hit the subscription and then go to the bell and let me know, even in the comment section, what have you experienced. Today we want to talk about confusion, and I know that it is top of the list of the things that people in toxic and narcissistic relationships actually face, because most of the people have come to me and told me, I actually don't understand this relationship. I don't, maybe some of them have had prior healthy relationships and they get into narcissistic relationships or toxic relationships, and they're like, I just don't understand, like I don't get it. And most of the times these people come to me when they're just not on the fence, but they are really in deep in the relationship. They are head over heels in love with their partners, and they're just seeking for, how can I make it better? I have tried everything that I can, but it seems like there's a lot of self-doubt, okay, and there's a lot of second guessing themselves. They just don't know whether what they're doing is right or it's not right. So that is the most painful state. It's really, really very painful. So I want us to talk about that. So you let me know, have you ever felt like this, and what did you do to actually get out of it? Because so many people are suffering. The world is suffering. I think it's the main problem of our day, dealing with narcissistic people. Main problem of our centuries and our time. But I know that we can overcome this and we can be happy people. Okay, so when it comes to not understanding, why exactly don't these people understand? That is the quest that I went whenever I had a client walk into my office and tell me this statement. And so many times I've actually talked together with team, and I'm like, there's something that I just don't get. I really want to understand, why don't these people understand what they are into? Because when they come to me, I feel when they explain everything, maybe because I've dealt with so many narcissistic kind of relationships and couples, then I'm able to tell. I can tell that this is the predicament they're in, but they can never tell. Okay, why? Because sometimes we don't have the knowledge, and secondly, is because the narcissist in our lives has actually gone ahead to do everything in his power or her power or in their power to make sure that they gaslight you, to make sure that they dismiss you, to make sure that they devalue you, to make sure that they cause you to second guess yourself and even your existence in that relationship, which leads to a lot more confusion. And let me tell you, when a narcissist gets you to a place where you are confused, then he has won. Okay, like to him, it's a winning game, and this is how he wins. For as long as you are confused, then he can maintain that state of dominancy, and you can remain with your state of being a doormat that will be unheard, that will never be, he will never be concerned, or she will never be concerned, because they're both ways. And so there's nothing much they can do for you but to get you more confused. That is why so many of the narcissistic partners tend to tell either the family or friends, and tell them that their partner is actually mad. And some of them have been taken to psychiatric hospitals for treatment. Some of them are actually on antidepressants. Some of them, not because they are mad, not because they have mental illnesses, not because, no, because they are confused. And this is where I usually say, if you are a mental health worker, if you're a psychiatrist, I think people need to be trained in all these disorders so that they can actually know not to administer drugs or just like that without knowing what exactly they are dealing with, because some patients actually are not mad, and they are not, but they are just second guessing themselves, and they are actually hitting depression and hitting rock bottom, and they need help to get out of there. Okay, so we've talked about the invalidation, we've talked about the, and look at this, because when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, as in, one, he will have a different face for you, or and they will have a different face for other people. Okay, whether it's a lady or a gentleman, um they will have a different face. Like, you'll be like, okay, so the outsiders are getting a different package, and me, who is in the house with this person, I'm actually getting a different package. And then these people have very neat either CVs and their names on papers and what they have done, and but you, who is in the house with them, or who is in the relationship with them, you actually know that is all faked up and it's not actually right. And that is why most of them actually tend to even be conmen. They will con people of their money, they will, and everyone will believe them, they will be so convincing. And sometimes you, as their partner, will be like a collateral to them, and they just splash your name anywhere. My wife and I, or my husband and I, we are going to clear this bill and all that. So everyone looks at a very good wife and a very good husband in the background, and they're like, yeah, this person actually will be able to pay the money. So they end up being trusted just like that. So you see where the confusion comes in. And then they are great actors. They are superb, very, very, very nice actors, that they will act, they will maintain a certain facade, and no one will be able to penetrate it. But you, who lives with them, you look at them once and you're like, seriously? I mean, someone has to go to this great length to convince and to act and to show, all this. When you are in the public, oh my God, like the PDA, they will touch you, they will, they will try, especially around the people that they know you. And this is what people will be saying: you are the luckiest human being on earth. You are the luckiest human being to have this kind of partner. But I mean, you have a different version altogether. When you go back home, or when you go behind closed doors, or when it's just you and them, you have a totally different story. So all the gaslighting, everything, all these things actually cause confusion, because then you don't know where you stand. You are in suspense, literally in suspense, okay? And then it's even worse for the children that grow up in narcissistic environments, because one day either their father is okay or their mother is okay, and the next day their father or mother is not okay. And so it causes, like, it antagonizes their kind of, their innocence and how they grow up, okay? They're exposed so much to these kind of lies and these kinds of betrayals and these kinds of, the cheatings and, all those things. And most of the people, or the children that come from narcissistic families, this is what they will tell me, because most people have narcissistic parents, okay? Just imagine, if your mother is in a narcissistic relationship, that means if your father is a narcissist, that means you're a child that has grown up under narcissistic, hoovering, okay, which is not good at all. And most of these children will tell me, and some of them come to me when they are teenagers, definitely when one of the parents is concerned, mostly the one who is not narcissistic, and they bring them in for therapy. And this is what they will say: but I don't know what my and they will call them out. They will say, I don't know what my father really wants, or I don't know what my mother really wants. One moment she's showing me love, the other moment she's insulting me, the other moment she's triangulating and causing my siblings to actually bump heads with me. The other moment she's antagonizing my relationship with my father. The other day, as in, I don't know what she wants. Do you see that kind of confusion? So it's not just for the relationship, for the romantic relationships, but even when a narcissistic person is your parent, then you tend to have even more confusion, okay? And most of the times, this confusion starts to bleed and permeate into other areas of your life. And when this confusion comes, you start start to judge yourself harshly, and then you start sometimes to withdraw. We've talked about all by now you know the symptoms. You withdraw, and some people even go into suicidal moments and have suicidal thoughts and the regrets that come with them, and the social withdrawal. You don't want to deal with people. Sometimes you even cut off your support system. Why? Because you are really, really, really confused. Okay, and then this confusion precedes, or it starts taking you to a place of self-gaslighting. Now, this place of self-gaslighting, this is what happens. When you do something, or you propose, you're like, okay, I'm just going to do this, or maybe I will take this course, and then after that you speak back to yourself and you're like, but am I even wise enough to graduate? Am I even, so you're not only second guessing yourself, but now you are self-gaslighting. Now that is the worst stage. That means by the time you get to that stage, it's really severe. And I know there's so many people that have gotten to that stage where you second guess yourself, even when you're applying for a job, and then you're like, but will I even get that job? Why? Because behind here, the narcissistic partner has been whispering into your ears how you mean nothing, how you can't do anything, how you will never amount to anything, how you're ugly, how you know, all these things. So they've devalued you, they've discarded you, they have minimized you, they have invalidated you, they have gaslighted you, they have disrespected you, they have, done all those things. Now, even when you want to put your head up to do something, you second guess yourself, and then you gaslight yourself, and you're talking yourself down. So most of the times you will never take that CV for a job. Most of the times you will never go to that auditioning if you want to audition for something. Most times you will never take that job. You'll even second guess. You'll be like, these people, they just give me that job to test me, but I don't think they're really serious, and I don't think I can perform at that job. Sometimes you even gaslight yourself about bringing your own children, or bringing up your own children, and you'll be like, I don't think I'm a good mother, and I don't think these kids will ever amount to anything for as long as they're under my care. And most of the time, such people will even trust their children with other people, either their grandmothers, their friends. They will feel, okay, my children are better off with so and so, because I am just not good enough, I'm too confused, and I'm hitting the rock bottom. But remember, that time you are really coming down at a very terrific speed, which cannot be stopped by anyone but you. And we will talk about that just in a minute, okay? And then it becomes very hard for the people that have come to see me to be able to change their mindset, to shift their mindset, to be able to trust themselves again, has been so hard. It takes someone, and that is why I usually tell people it's not a one-day thing. No. It has to be a full package where we go through a recovery roadmap, where we go through reprogramming your mind, because you have been programmed to think differently, to respond, not to respond, to react differently, to be emotional in so many things, and to take the hit. So you need a whole roadmap. That means we have to have a package and follow up. But being able to just give them the mindset shift, to tell them that, you know what, you can be this and more, or you can trust yourself again, is the hardest thing that I have had to do in therapy. And then when, just like I said, that when the narcissist gets you confused, then they have won. Yay! They feel like, yeah, we have her under control, we have him under control. Where we want them as a doormat, and we don't want them as a nice business person where everyone trusts you. And then no, we have to beat you down until you are down there, and you actually can stay down, because the moment you try to come up, the insults will keep coming, to the extent someone will insult your body, where you cannot change your body. Okay, whether you've just given birth and someone tells you how you have a very big tummy, where you've just, someone will even refer to your color, someone will refer to your shortness or height, whether you're too tall or you're too short, someone will refer to your academic papers, someone will refer to your performance in school, as in they will try to use any tool. That is why I said I usually talk about the gray rock, and not giving out too much information to a narcissist, because they use that information against you. Now let them use what they can see, okay? Let them pick up on what they can see. but let them not use the weapons of mass destruction when you are the one that actually handed them to. When I was going through school, again, I did this and this and this. My friend, that will be around your neck. It will be tied around your neck for the rest of your life. It will be used as a card to turn tables. It will be used a card to discard you. It will be used as a card to minimize you, to shut you up, to invalidate you. Why? Because you gave them the weapon. So you do not dare give a weapon to a narcissist. And then most of the times, this is actually a good one that I have seen so many of my clients go through, that a narcissist will future fake. Now, what we call, or what I call by future faking, or what I mean by future faking is they will promise you of a change that will never come, but that change will be somewhere in the future. And they will never be so clear about it. But they're like, you know what? I've really been so stressed about my job, but I think I'm about to get that promotion. Things are going to be okay. I think this course has really been so stressing, but as soon as I'm done, oh my, we're just going to go back to normal, and things are going to normalize around here. So do you see how this person gets into your head and gives you a hope for the future that they do not intend to keep? And this is where most people actually fidget to go back to phone records, to emails, to text messages, or maybe some of them record the talk, the conversation they have. And this is what has happened so many times when I'm in the therapy room, and maybe a couple comes, and one of them is narcissistic, and the other person is really confused and deranged, and just from the free fall to the rock bottom. And most times they will want to bring out the evidence. They will want to bring out the phone and the text messages and the emails and the audio recordings. And so most of the times, this is what the narcissistic partner will say. I told you she's mad. I told you she is mad. This one, like, I even don't know why I married her. I even don't know why I even have children with her. As in, they will get on top of that game and make sure that they blow it out of proportion. And yet this person was actually trying to show you that, you know what, I cannot trust my mind, but at least I can trust that I recorded something. I can trust that I have a text message. I can trust that I have this. At least it can show you. It's an evidence to show you that I am not mad. What I am saying is actually true. So the future faking actually brings so many people into recording and keeping records of what has happened so that they can be able to actually reproduce it. And then the lies, okay? So many lies when it comes to narcissists, and these contribute to a lot of a lot of confusion that comes, because they will tell you of things that will never happen and they will never do, okay? Or that they will tell you they will change, or they will tell you a story about their friend, which is a lie, but just to cover up a story of what has happened in their own lives. They are so good at that. And then you will feel like, you know what, when you come to me, you're saying something different. When we are in the public, and the worst thing you can ever do is to call out a narcissistic person. And most people try to do this when there are other people, because they're like, you know what, I've tried calling him out. I've tried to confront him when he's alone, and it has backfired. And by now, we have talked about it. It's going to backfire on you. But most people think, okay, when there are other people involved, for example, because most of the people that stay with narcissistic people, they have tried to walk away so many times. Someone will tell you, I have packed and left like 4 times, but I keep coming back, okay? And so most of the times during the mediation process and the reconciliation, there's always other members of the family involved, or the clergy, or or friends that they trust. And so this is the opportune moment where the abused person, the victim, thinks, okay, I should bring out all the dirty linen so that they can know that this is the truth. These are the true colors of this guy. And let me tell you, this guy will lie. This guy will, say things that they have no business saying, that are not even true. And you will look at them, you will go more confused, and then they will win the hearts of everyone that is in the room. And then they will turn against you and tell you, but if you don't want your marriage, you'd have just said it, instead of, saying all these words and bringing false evidence and doing what? Why? The narcissist is so convincing, and he has gotten into, or she has gotten into their heads, which is really, really, really very sad. And then but when something else that causes the confusion, the triangulation. Have you ever and they're very good gossipers, but they will gossip and give us, and then the smear campaigns. Okay, oh my god, you will be blackmailed, you'll be smeared, you will be, the triangulation, when someone uses you, or brings you to be at loggerheads with someone else. Could be with your matron, could be with your siblings, could be with your co-worker, could be with, anyone. But at least, I mean, bash the heads and say, so and so told me this, and you say this about me, and then you said, oh my god, and then until you're like, you know what, you should never trust him. And then most people actually trust the narcissists. Oh, you should never trust her. But most people actually find themselves trusting her. Okay, so the triangulation, the all the lies, and all the second guessing, all that, like, is a recipe, a perfect recipe for confusion in your life. And then most of the times when you are confused, you become incompetent. Okay, and then you can't perform when you are confused. That is why you go to work and you sit blank in your office, minus doing anything, and then you see break time come, lunchtime come, and then time to go home comes, and then you lift your bag, like you're just like lost in your thoughts, in your blankness, and you just can't perform anything. Sometimes even you bringing up your own children, even cooking for them, even, as in, there's a way it robs all the power, it takes away all the power that you had as a human being to make the things that you really wanted to make right in your life. Okay, so most of the times, and when this confusion kicks in and this lack of performance kicks in, your heart will race so much, and sometimes you will be even disoriented. Okay, and sometimes it even takes yourself to remind yourself that, you know what, I mean, you're alive, and you are here, and this is the situation that is taking place, which is very, very sad, because then you have to keep reminding yourself. And so many people have even woken up just to ask themselves, where are they? I know of people who have left narcissistic relationships, and even when they wake up at wherever they go, either they've gone to a brother, a sister, a cousin, or something like that, or a new place altogether, they wake up and they just don't know where they are. So they need to, to look around. They need to remind themselves that, oh, okay, it's a morning, and it's this date, and the sun is already up, and so and so, and this is what's been happening. As in, you lose pieces of yourself, which is not a good thing at all. And sometimes you tend to speak to yourself, because then you're reminding yourself of this, of the situations, of things that have happened. So you find yourself speaking to yourself, because you second guess yourself. Then you repeatedly do it, and then you're like, okay, was it true? Did I say that? But someone gaslighted you, and then you can't remember. Sometimes you even develop a bit of insomnia, and then sometimes you have headaches that are very relentless. They keep coming back and very persistent, and you will lose appetite, and you will lose weight, and then you will cut off your strings from your friends and support system, which is just not good at all. Okay, so I want us to look at, what do you do after you are confused, because I know that you are going to get confused if you're just starting out in an narcissistic relationship. Maybe you've not gotten to that time, because it will go from the love bombing, it will go to devaluing, and then it will go to discarding, and then it will, after discarding, when you're about to just get out, they will hoover around you, and then they will zap you back in the relationship and start again the love bombing, the devaluing, and the discarding, and then the hoovering. And so it's just not worth it. Okay, so, just like we said, if you are disoriented, speaking to yourself is okay, because then that you remind yourself of who you are, where you are, what you planned to do, and what and what you're facing. Okay, it's okay to speak to yourself, because then it helps you pop out of that moment of that confusion. It helps you snap out of that confusion, because the moment you get lost in your thoughts, you realize we usually get lost in thoughts where we are totally silent, and we're just thinking about our situation. But the moment you start speaking, but was this really true, there's a way you snap out back to reality, and you're able to face the real world. And then keeping a record. Number two, I will say you keep a record, especially when the journaling really helps. Keeping the messages and all those things, I know that they come to you first, but I think journaling is better, because when you journal, then at the end of every day, you're writing down things that happened to you, And so you can track when you were gaslighted, you can track when you were minimized, when you were dismissed, when you were devalued, when you were disrespected. Like you can, write down those things. And this is not to make you feel bad, because most times when you look at bad material like that, you really feel bad. But this is to remind you that this is the reality of what is actually happening. That even when the days come when you are confused, you can remind yourself that, okay, actually, this is true. This is, I'm not making it. I'm making it up. I'm not faking it. I'm actually speaking the truth, because on Sunday he did this, and on Monday he did this, or she did this, or Wednesday, someone did this. So you're able to remind yourself that, oh, this is actually something that I'm in. And this is what happens, because when we don't journal, and journaling, you can tell me that it's very sad, and that means you're keeping all the bad memories and all that. Yes, in this case, I will say yes, because most times in other areas of therapy, we tell you not to do that. But in this particular area, I will tell you to do it, and I've told you the reason. And the other reason is the good days that you have with a narcissistic person should never erase the bad days that they have given to you, because the good days are less than the bad days. And so they can take their bad days and stay with them. But just know the truth, that because it's the truth that will set you free, that this relationship is toxic because of A, B, C, and D. This person does A, B, C, and D. They are not remorseful. They are not willing to change. I've been with them for the past 10 years, 20 years, but they are never going to change. Okay, so it's good to have that feedback. And even if you cannot talk to anyone about it, it's good to have that feedback and look at it once in a while, just to make sure that you're not going mad, but these are the real things that are actually happening. And sometimes finding a trusted friend. As number 3, finding a trusted friend or a therapist that you can trust to talk to. It helps for you to speak out loud and call these people who they really are. Okay, if you want to call it, he's gaslighting me, he's disrespecting me, or she's taking me for granted, she's not concerned about my concerns, and nothing has ever been resolved in our relationship. As in, when you say those things, even if you're saying it to a trusted friend or a very trusted therapist, that is the beginning of healing, because then you have gotten it out of yourself and you have put it out there. And so it in a way, it endorses, or it stamps the fact that this is actually happening in your life. But before that, you're always, rationalizing, you're always giving justifications, you're always giving excuses, you're always, why? Because you don't get to air out your concerns, you don't get to speak about them loudly with actually someone to make sure that you know that, okay, this is actually the truth that is happening in my life, and this is how I need the help, or this is how I can be helped. And the fourth, I will still say, it's now becoming a cliche, part of the things that we've talked about so many times, that is not confronting the narcissist and not calling them out, because it's not going to help at all. Okay, and even if you have the database of what they have done, even if you have emails and emails of what they have done, even if you have all the texts in the world that you've ever had with him or with her, it never helps at all. And stop using these things as reality checks, because most times when you have them, you start using them as reality checks, as in to go and confront and tell them that, because of this and this and this, you're a gaslighter, you're confusing me, yeah, you're doing this. Do you know that they're going to, do you think they're going to accept it? No, they're not going to accept it. They're just going to look at you and say, look at this mad woman, or look at this madman. As in, they're just going to dismiss it. They're just going to invalidate you and what you feel and what your concerns are. And it's going to hurt more, and it's going to even pain a lot more. Okay. So instead of confusing yourself more by confronting and calling them out, just leave it. Okay. Just let it be. And we'll tell you to find your tribe. As number 5, find your tribe, a people that can support you, a people that believe in you, and a people that can have you back fully without you. When you say, what, I knew I could lean on you when you were going through a very hard time. I knew I could count on you. I knew you would be there for me. I knew you would come through for me. Those are the people that you should create, a tribe of people that believes in you, that can nurture you, that can grow with you, that can understand understand you, not people who will backbite you, not people who will come and say something in front of you and then go something else, say something else in front of your narcissistic partner, but people who are one and themselves, people who are true to themselves. And I will say these people who are authentic, okay? Because people who are authentic, when you dwell with people who are authentic, that authenticity is going to rub onto you, because then you're going to be like, these people speak their truth. These people are aligned with their values and their joy, and they are chasing their purpose, and they're, so you will look at them and admire them, and then you will be able to even rub more or copy more or do more of what they are doing, because they are authentic in their lives. And it's so good. And if there is anything that a narcissist fears more than anything in the world, is being authentic, and any person that is authentic, because then they do not want to deal with them. And these people actually are not bothered. They do not count on external validation. They do not wait for everyone to do something for it to be a bandwagon so that they can do it. They speak their truth. They sign out when they need to sign out. They sign in when they need to sign in. They support where they need to support. And they walk away when they need to walk away. That is authenticity. Like your peace, you protect your peace 100%. Like you just have that buffer around you, and it's just not letting in all the negativity, okay? And then I just pray and I wish you all the best. I would really want to see you happy. And if that happiness means that what's right for you as a person, and I know that you know it, you know what makes you confused, okay? I pray that you don't stay confused, because by now you know what's making you confused, and then you have learned the ways to actually get out of confusion. And I know that if you put this into practice, you're actually going to make it in life, and you're going to be happy again, and you're going to create an epic life. You will bring up very great children that will also be very good citizens, and you will go on to even do mega things in your life. I believe in that. So if you believe it with me, make sure that you'd go through the recovery journey. The 21-day challenge is here for you, just to make sure that I give you all the tools that you need to make sure that you can cope, or you can heal, or you can decide, you can make a sober decision about your life and how else you want to live. So don't miss it. I love you, and have a great moment.